Many of the children that I see for speech and language therapy sessions call me the story lady. And it's not just because Bryony is kind of a tricky name to pronounce, but also because it's true. I love to use stories in therapy sessions. They are fun, flexible, and motivating. A great way to catch a child's attention whilst also working on some specific communication targets within that. And often parents will say to me, I'm surprised my child paid such good attention. So guys, there's something in storytelling as part of therapy. And so today I want to share with you 5 of the ways that I use stories within my therapy sessions to target a range of different communication skills. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, it feels important to start by acknowledging that we are living in the middle of a global pandemic, and many of our children are just now tentatively starting to return to school after a very long break. And we know that it is stressful for all of us. And so as they return to school, a big part of that is thinking about how do we not only nurture their development, but also support their well-being. And this is my first way that I really like to use stories, as a way to help a child to understand and process their own personal experiences, and also be able to express them with the people around them, and creating kind of personal narratives, helping a child to tell their story. And this applies from our very young children, helping them to share maybe their summer news if they're not very confident themselves within the classroom. And stay tuned, because I'm going to make a video just all about that for you in the future. And then also is applicable right on up into adulthood. We understand the world and our place in it through stories, and so using these within therapy can be really valuable. Second way that I use stories is to practice developing understanding of sequences of events, and also simply developing narrative skills. It's a key part of language development. How do we understand stories that are told to us? How do we retell or share our own stories? Is a huge part of how we communicate. And it's also a huge part of the curriculum. The learning within the classroom, a lot of it is based on that narrative language skills. And so this is something that we practice within therapy sessions. Can you listen to a story? Can you tell me bits of the story? Can you retell it? Can you take it, mix it up, adjust it, and make it your own? All of these are aspects of storytelling, narrative language development that is crucial for our children's development. Third way that I use stories is to simply practice asking thoughtful questions. Many of the children that I meet struggle to formulate a question, and then sometimes lack the confidence in asking a question within class. And the ability to ask thoughtful questions is crucial for our lifelong learning. Having that curiosity, I wonder how this might happen, but what about if we add in this? All of that is so key to our learning, that we want to help a child to practice those kind of wonderings and formal question formulations, not only for simply finding out information, but for also finding out about the people around us, which brings me to my 4th suggestion. Stories are really valuable for developing social communication skills, the ability to think about someone else's perspective, maybe make some basic kind of social predictions about what might happen next, how people might respond, what kind of thought processes might be going on. All of this is really brought to life if we're in the middle of retelling and sharing a story together. And so developing that social communication within stories is one of my favorite ways of targeting communication. The 5th way that I use stories within therapy sessions is simply to create a nice structure to our therapy session, particularly when I'm doing outdoor sessions, either in a garden or at the beach or in the forest. Having a story and sharing it in a flexible way that includes the child's contributions means that we can work on specific things. It gives just a little bit of an envelope for the session, and also something really nice that a child can take away and chat with mum about, or tell a grandparent about. So there's a whistle-stop tour of some of the reasons why I think stories are so valuable in therapy sessions. And I would encourage you to maybe pick one that sounds interesting to you that you might want to think about further, whether it's helping your child ask questions, developing that kind of perspective-taking skills, or just being able to share your own experiences. Maybe you want to work together to make up a story about your weekend, or any number of things. I'm going to be sharing some more suggestions around using stories to help children's communication development with a few specific kind of practical activities. So do stay tuned for those. Subscribe, like if you found this video helpful, and maybe there's someone else who thinks that these ideas would be useful. Maybe share it with them. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you being here. And remember, whatever you're doing with your little one, you're already doing a fantastic job in the middle of a big challenging situation across the globe right now. You're doing great. Keep at it. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you next time.